The concept of God in heaven who is active in the affairs of humankind has been an important part of biblical teaching for thousands of years and powerfully portrayed in painting, literature, and song for centuries. Interestingly, although different faiths vary slightly in their concept of heaven, all of them focus on the ideas of peace, serenity, and some sort of justice or retribution. These concepts seem to bridge all societal norms. According to a recent Gallup poll, over 70% of those polled believed in the existence of a heaven of some kind. Strong evidence indeed for the power of ideas. Or could it be the idea of a powerful God? Christianity, for example, has for centuries proclaimed that Jesus Christ died on the cross, was buried, and yet emerged from the tomb alive. This, according to the Christian view, is a matter of historical fact.
The Christian viewpoint of heaven is ultimately communicated through Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, who is God in human flesh, who demonstrated that he was God through the immutable fact of the resurrection. So his opinion is infinitely better than my opinion or anybody else's opinion, because Christ is the creator of the cosmos. Christ said he was the way, the truth, and the life, that only through a relationship with him could we be united with him for all eternity. So only those who put their trust in Jesus Christ ultimately are going to spend an eternity with him.
Many people create their own ideas of the afterlife because they do not wish to accept the biblical account of heaven, because to do so necessitates a belief in hell, and it's easier to create something that is wonderful than something that is possibly degrading or eternally separated from God in heaven.
Traditional Judaism also firmly believes that death is not the end of human existence. But because Judaism is primarily focused on the here and now rather than the afterlife, it leaves a great deal of room for personal opinion. It is possible for an Orthodox Jew to believe that the souls of the righteous go to a place similar to the Christian heaven, or that they simply wait until the coming of the Messiah, when they will be resurrected. And of course, there are those whose belief system excludes any possibility of life beyond the grave. The skeptic finds no comfort in either the nature of the evidence nor the amount of it.
All of the commonly reported manifestations of these so-called near-death experiences can be explained in either psychological terms or in terms of drug-induced or oxygen deprivation-induced hallucinations, if you will. I can understand how someone inclined to believe in an afterlife and in heaven might interpret their experiences that way, whereas someone not oriented to that belief might be perfectly happy with a more normal explanation.
But can these remarkable near-death experiences be explained away simply as psychologically conditioned responses or hallucinations? There are those who disagree.
One of the medical explanations for near-death experiences is called hypoxia. And this has to do with the idea that when you die, your brain is deprived of oxygen. And that explains some of the feelings that you have, such as going through a dark tunnel and then seeing a bright light. However, one thing that doesn't explain is the fact that people who go through a near-death experience can typically recount with great detail what the nurse and what the doctor said, as well as the very specific procedures that they went through in trying to save your life. So however you look at it, hypoxia and other medical explanations can't account for that one fact.
In my research, I have found there to be no evidence that near-death phenomena are caused by either drug-induced hallucinations or psychological manifestations.
Having a doctorate in both philosophy and medicine, I think I'm a lot more attuned to some of the profound questions that these near-death experiences raise for human consciousness. And in short, I think it's oversimplistic to say that these near-death experiences can be accounted for simply as drugs or as anoxia of the brain or by psychological factors.
Once again, the skeptics find themselves at odds with the experts. But if hypoxia and drug-induced hallucinations are the problem, then there's a lot of it going on. some surprising answers when we come back.